Dear friends, welcome back to another episode of The Soldier's Journal. Today, we're breaking down a seismic event, the U.S. strike on Caracas and the reported capture of dictator Nicolas Maduro. What does this mean for the Chavismo regime? In the early hours of Saturday, January 3rd, the United States carried out a large-scale military operation against targets inside Venezuela. Explosions were reported in Caracas and elsewhere across the country. Shortly afterward, U.S. President Donald Trump said that Nicolás Maduro and his wife, Cilia Adela Gavidia Flores, had been detained and removed from Venezuelan soil. But what does that claim actually change on the ground? This is a direct shock to Chavismo. Beyond the long-running economic crisis, international isolation, and internal dissent that have weakened the regime, this move represents an attempted decapitation of its leadership, evoking past foreign interventions like the U.S. invasion of Panama in 1989. Overnight, Caracas saw multiple explosions, low-flying aircraft, and fires erupting in sensitive areas. Reported targets include key military nodes in the capital, notably La Carlota Air Base and the Fort Tiona complex, which house Central Ministry of Defense and military command facilities. Venezuelan official lines say Maduro is missing. Vice President Delcy Rodriguez has said she doesn't know the whereabouts of Maduro and Cilia Flores. General Vladimir Padrino Lopez appeared on video to condemn the attack and vow that Venezuela will resist. Diosdado Cabello Rondon also emerged publicly, urging citizens not to cooperate with what he called a terrorist enemy. So far, the United States has not released detailed operational information. Some sources suggest special forces, allegedly members of Forza Delta, a unit trained for counterterrorism and infiltration rescue operations, took part. In operations like this, heavy airstrikes often serve to disorient and paralyze an opponent's command systems, sowing confusion and creating the conditions for teams to infiltrate and seize a high-value target. The usual sequence is, first, neutralize command, communications, and defenses. Second, open short windows of local superiority so teams can move in and out. And third, secure a rapid extraction, often by air, which would explain reports of Chinook helicopters seen over the capital. Legally, the detention of Nicolás Maduro would make Delcy Rodriguez the immediate constitutional successor under Venezuelan law, which is why her demand for proof of life carries institutional weight. But in Venezuela, there is often a serious gap between constitutional text and the reality of power. The regime's real authority rests on a tripod: the United Socialist Party of Venezuela and its political institutional control, the security apparatus, intelligence services, repression forces, police, and allied militias, and finally, the armed forces, which the U.S. says are deeply involved in trafficking networks. Appointing Delcy Rodriguez could preserve a veneer of constitutional continuity, but actual control depends on decisions made by the regime's real power brokers, especially between Cabello and Padrino, since only one of them, or some arrangement between them, will likely secure real hegemony. Diosdado Cabello has long been seen as the hardline operator of Chavismo, speaking to the party's most radical base. Vladimir Padrino Lopez, by contrast, personifies military power. Padrino's quick video appearances suggest he's positioning himself as guarantor of sovereignty and a pillar of regime continuity. Choosing between Cabello and Padrino isn't straightforward. Practically speaking, the most likely short-term outcome is a collective arrangement. Chavismo without Maduro, but acting through a shared leadership. Delcy as the institutional face, Padrino providing military cohesion, and Cabello controlling the party and repression machinery. Alternative scenarios exist. One is militarization. If the regime prioritizes strict order, Padrino and the military command could become the real center of power, marginalizing the United Socialist Party of Venezuela and Cabello. The most dangerous outcome is fragmentation. If fissures open between the political apparatus and segments of the armed forces, or if units begin acting independently, we could see internal purges, arrests, localized clashes, and a spike in urban violence. So Maduro's capture alone does not equal the immediate fall of the dictatorship. What it does mark is the beginning of the most vulnerable and unpredictable phase in the regime's recent history, an attack straight at the top of the command chain and at the symbol that holds the authoritarian structure together. We'll keep monitoring developments. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, hit subscribe and ring the notification bell so you don't miss any updates.